people, and welcome to my channel. It's your girl Janey, aka Janey of Canada, and on this channel we'll talk about everything life as a professional newcomer to Canada, studying, working, business, life, and the whole 9 years. So if you're here looking to thrive in your profession and in your business, you're in the right place. Please subscribe. If you're new, where have you been? And if you're returned and subscribing, I miss you. So this is part 2 of the scam series. The first one we talked about how to know if your international student advisor or immigration consultant is a scam and how to check that out before you lose some coins. Check that video up in the description box below. And while you're at it, subscribe, okay? Do that for me, girl. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk a little bit more about how to know if your job offer is a scam. And so I've seen this time and time again where people are like, I just got a job, I'm not sure if it's a scam, they're asking for all of this. Because the truth is, they might not be asking you for money, but they might be asking you for a lot of information. And let's talk about what is normal, what is not, and what might be a sign. So first thing you need to check when you get a job offer, does this company have a physical location? Yes, I know we're in the COVID era, and a lot of things are virtual now, so it's way more easier for people to be scammed from a job search. So the way to go about that is finding out if they have a physical location. Yes, there's a lot of companies now who have now resorted to working remote completely, but before COVID they would have had a physical location. And then check if it's in a building, a business property, you can check the directory to see if they actually own space within that building. Obviously, they're a new business, they haven't set up shop anywhere, they're a startup or a small business, it's easy to know, okay? The second thing is how they contacted you. How do they find you? What number are they calling you with? If somebody is calling you from Toronto, Canada, they should be calling you with a 647 number or a 416 number, or at least a number that's local to Ontario or Canada. Really, they might have moved, right? If a company is calling you with a toll-free number, why is that? Sketchy, right? So check the number and how they contacted you. And throughout the interview process to get in the job, did you actually meet anybody face to face? Yes, we are in a remote pandemic world, but did you have any video calls? Because I can't imagine that somebody's trying to hire me through just a phone call. Again, let's frame this. If this is a temp job, like a customer service gig, and they're just looking for hands and feet right now, that's totally fine. But I'm talking like a profession, a career with the possibility of a full-time job. You should have had a video call with at least one person, the hiring manager, the recruiter, somebody. If they're trying to contact you on weird places like WhatsApp, Telegram, all of that, sketchy, 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 sketchy. Again, what the next thing too is, what are they asking you for? This is where the identity piece comes through. I've heard a lot of people who have been scammed or who potentially could have been scammed say their employer is asking for their SIN number before an offer letter or before they start the job. Your SIN number is your social identity number, I believe. You're supposed to protect that thing like the biggest password, because that is how the government of Canada knows you as an individual. So if somebody has that number, it's easy for them to act as you. It's easier, not easy, but it's easier for them to act as you in certain situations. You don't want that. So typically, I even just started a job not too long ago, but my SIN number wasn't asked until I started the job. When HR is onboarding you, they don't need your SIN number before you're on the job. And if your company, speaking about documents, if they're asking you for proof of legal authorization to work in Canada, they shouldn't be asking you for proof, first of all, like in real situations, because I did a stint of recruiting too, and the only time they would now say proof is when you start the job and they're like, okay, what is your SIN number once you started? And with your SIN number, they can tell if you're a worker or a permanent resident or / citizen, right? Based on the number. They shouldn't be asking you for proof of work authorization. But if they do, you can scan I believe your work permit is fine to give to them. But again, this is making sure that they have a physical location. You've seen the person who is interviewing you. And when you check, when you have an interview, even if it's a video call, go and find the person on LinkedIn. There's barely anybody who is in the professional scene right now that does not have a LinkedIn profile. Google them. Do they exist? Is this some weird name? And then when you've checked out all this points on trust, you've actually had interactions, and they're still asking you for proof, which is sketchy, by the way, because like in Canada generally, once there's recordings on the call with a recruiter that you said you have authorization to work in Canada, they don't need to see proof until you start working and you have to submit those documents. So if you feel safe after checking all this points with them, then you can share that document. However, if you're a permanent resident, I will never send my PR card. So I would not share my SIN number as well. When I started my job, it was a situation of, do you want to send this or talk about it over the phone? Because this is private information that if anybody has access to, they can impersonate you, and that's how identity theft happens, okay? Another thing to look out for is the salary range. If it's too good to be true, it is a what, right? So first of all, let me just get that out there before we even get to salary. If you have to pay for this job, because I mean, some people are like, Janey, really? Yeah, I've heard of situations where people have been asked to pay for something to get something or speak to a certain recruiter. Recruitment services typically are free for the applicant. Not typically, are always free for the applicant. Is the company that needs you and your talent and your energy and all of that stuff, right? So if you have to pay for that job, obviously it's a scam. That one I'm clear on. Let's be clear, let's be guided. However, if it's salary, like I was saying, that is too high or too low, obviously it can't be too low because you would just say no. But if it's too high, if somebody tells you, for instance, an entry-level BA job and they want to pay you $150K in Toronto, Ontario, and then you're calling your parents like, yo, I just got 6 figures. Nah, man, no. Especially when it's too good to be true and you never negotiated it. Again, it's a different thing if they came to you with that role as 80K and you negotiated your way to 150K. First of all, you need to teach me your ways. But if that's the situation, then that's fine. Again, there's a way you can fact check this. Use Glassdoor and PayScale, and even LinkedIn salaries to see what's the average price, what's the average salary or compensation for this role in this city or in this area. It's free information, right? That's how people even used to know their what salaries to ask for. So if it's too good to be true, possibly scam. And in speaking about documents as well, another thing to know is if your offer letter that they give you does not have your name on it. If somebody says, dear, space, we're pleased to offer you, that could have been gotten from anywhere. Again, check that offer letter. First of all, check the logo. I talked about it in part 1 of this video. Check the logo that it matches the actual company that exists, and that it's not been distorted in any way. Most companies don't mess with their brand guidelines. So if a logo is distorted, or if it's on a different background, black versus white, the way the company originally uses it, red flag. Look at the fonts. If the font looks different from other company documents from that company's brand, red flag. If the offer letter doesn't have your name on it, if it's fill in the blank, red flag, right? And they should always be willing to talk to you when you have a question. If your employer seems sketchy, like you want to talk to them, they're like, oh, I'm not available, what's your question? And they never want to be able to talk to you, that might be a red flag. Why are they hiding from you? Don't you want to work with me? Are we not going to work together? And finally, I would say it's definitely okay to challenge or ask questions about their process. For instance, if somebody asks me, Janey, I need to have your transcripts, for instance, I'd ask them, oh, what do you need that for? And that's totally okay. Don't be afraid to push back. Be like, oh, we're just doing some background check. If you want, we can send it. You can have your university send it directly. Okay, that gives me some sense of confidence, right? And if, again, ask questions to those recruiters, and if something seems off, find out somebody who's worked in that company and say for it or that role, again, using LinkedIn, hey, I just got in an offer from a company. Do you have 2 seconds to look it over? Or somebody in your network as friends, like somebody, because usually if you're just landing in Canada, if you're new to Canada, you would have had some type of help or family or friends. None of all that privacy when it comes to jobs here. I know we do that in some countries, but none of that, because you don't want to be at the receiving end of identity theft. And with that, I'll say don't hurry. Don't be in a hurry to accept an offer. Always review it. And normally, if a company tells you, oh, I sent you an offer letter, you have to sign and send back tomorrow, red flag. They're supposed to give you at least a week. Some companies, it depends on the hurry, might be 3 days, but it's never an overnight decision. And that is when you can always ask somebody to help you review that offer, okay? Okay? Please promise me that you won't sign anything without reviewing and negotiating. Please, please. So we've said that you should not hurry, ask experienced folks. But another thing is protect your document and your identity with your life. It is your life in Canada. A lot of companies, if they have to ask for all this private sensitive information, they would ask through password protected portals. they just can't ask you to WhatsApp, Telegram, email them certain things if they have to, but most people won't collect it until you're at the job. Please let me know if you have any questions about this whole process. Are you reviewing an offer right now? Have you seen any situation where someone has been scammed? Please, let's talk in the comments, because I want people to be able to learn from these situations. We don't want people being scammed this year. So if you have any other questions, anything that I haven't touched on with regards to this topic, or anything you want me to talk about with regards to being a newcomer to Canada, let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely get on it. So if you've liked this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. And if you've loved it, subscribe. Come on, man. Button here. Let's get more content. Let's help more people thrive as a professional newcomer to Canada. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, have a blessed week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.